Hi guys, Erica here. I'm gonna start doing my Drawing Connections number 3. I can't believe this is the last one and we're at the end of the semester, but here we go. So some of the things that I wanted to talk during this Drawing Connections was some of the articles that we read this week. The first one that I found to be very interesting was based on civilian social work. And just some of the things that I found that made a lot of sense when working with military families was you have to be prepared to provide direct service to the families, and that you could potentially be working in a geographically isolated area. Um, just because, some military bases may not be in like a big city, they're maybe out farther out where they can have a huge plot of land and so on, and that many of the families may not have access to treatment. So what you provide may be all that is available to them because there may not be anything closer. I found that when reading the article, they said that, three important things a social worker should know when working with the military. The first one is appropriate education and training. I just feel like working with the military isn't like, working with, you know, I don't want to say normal people because military life is a specific culture. And, they are, um, you know, disposed to exposed to, war. And so I just feel like that is a kind of a specific thing that you have to have experience and, education on. The second thing that they talked about was obtain and maintain a comprehensive directory of resources. Um, and I think this is a really good um, goal as well, just because, like I said, a little bit ago, that there may not be a lot of resources available to the families who reside on a military base. So it's good to have a list of the resources that are available. So if the family may need something or a type of service that you are not able to provide them, you would be able to direct them to the appropriate um, agency or location. And then the last thing that they talked about was reaching out to military counterparts. Um, I found this to be extremely important because I feel like when you're working with veterans and service members, being in the military is part of their life. And I think it's important to reach out to, of course, with permission from the service member to reach out to any type of other services within the military that they're receiving that may pertain to what is going on specifically with that service member or that veteran. Um, I just feel like communication is key, and that everyone should kind of be on the same page in order to provide that veteran or service member with the best care that is possible. Um, Another thing that I wanted to talk about was from the other article, which was, all about ethical challenges as a social worker working with military and veterans. Some of the things that they covered were boundaries, limited resources, privacy and confidentiality, and responsibilities. I just think as social workers, we have to understand that, confidentiality and privacy is extremely important. And I don't want to say that the military could be, abrasive when wanting to know information about a service member or veteran. And I know that it is important to make sure that the service member or veteran is receiving the most appropriate services for whatever is going on with their life. And I know that plays a role in them being able to serve our country and, maybe they're those issues might not make them ready to be deployed or so on. And I know with the military, they want to know if the service member is ready to be deployed and what's going on with the situation. So I just think we have to remember that privacy and confidentiality is key. And as a social worker, sometimes you may need to stand your ground. I just feel like sometimes there could potentially be um, a time where maybe you butt heads with the commanding officers or someone. And it's, your responsibility as a social worker to make sure that they're receiving the appropriate services that is that can help them with whatever challenge they are struggling with. The next thing that I want to cover, I know we talked about this. I believe it's in the beginning of the semester. Was just is a military culture. Again, as a social worker who will be working with the military, it's important to know that the people who may live on a military base have a certain way of life. And that's kind of like mission readiness, always be prepared and ready to go. And to a lot of people, it is a way of life. You could be from a military family and, growing up in the military, maybe that person ends up serving in the military. Um, it's just kind of a way of life. And you need to understand that that is, sorry, that that is their life, and maybe that's something that all that person knows. And it's important to know the different types of different types of branches, and you know the different types of uniforms, to make sure you're showing your respect to officers and things like that. Because as a social worker, you just need to be able to, um, what's the word I'm looking for, provide the best services to the community as you can. And again, with military culture, it's important to just understand that, it's something that these people, not these people, but that they may, my gosh, I'm getting tongue twisted, that they know. And it's important that, that they're always, you know, needing to be prepared, and that could play a role into stress and anxiety. I couldn't personally um, be in a situation where you're always on call and you always have to be ready to go. Because for myself personally, that would cause a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety for myself. And I don't think I would be able to do that. And I think it takes a certain person to be able to do that. But I just think you need to be there as a social worker and to provide the best type of service that you can to those families and that community. All right, so there are my references. Um, I really enjoyed working with everyone this short semester, and I hope everyone has a great summer. And I do appreciate, everyone reviewing my work and letting me know where I need to do improvements. I know these aren't my best, these aren't my strong suits, but I appreciate you guys, the people who take the time to review them. All right, thanks.